You're watching Frames. Frames is right there. Take us away, Frame.
So today we're going to talk about the Nikon Z8 and what our expectations are from that camera. I know a lot of people are talking about the Z8. A lot of people are waiting for that. So three of us are going to talk about that. There's Ryan, there's Vahagn from Vahagraphy, right? And there's me, right? I've already been introduced.
What's
So
up, guys?
this is the second in an episode, second in the series. We're going to have in total 3 episodes to this conversation. This is the second in the series. If you have not watched the first one, check in the description. You'll have the link to the first episode where we talk about what influencers should do and should become. Right now, let's get started.
The Z8? We're talking about that?
The Z8.
Z8. Oh, Z8.
Or is it-
Z8.
They say Z in Canada too.
Yeah, I think in America we like the only ones that say Z. It feels
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. So
I guess you want us to talk about if there was a Z8, what I would
Yes.
like for that camera to have.
yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but if there was a Z8, right, I would want it to be a Z9, but half the price without a grip. Sum it up, exactly the same engine. I mean, yeah, I want 4K 120. You know, I want 30 frames per second. I don't know, that crazy Z9 is doing like 120. I don't know. The other day I was reading
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I want that. I want a Z9 that's half the price without a grip.
Okay. What I want personally, are y'all familiar with Sony cameras?
Yeah.
That Sony camera that came out this year that is their video. It does video. It has no.
Oh, the XC3, the XC3 or FX3?
I think it's the FX3, right?
Yeah.
I want a camera like that from Nikon. Now, I personally feel like the Z6 has this space. I feel like the Z7 has its space, which is what I use. I love it. I don't want the Z9. Because I don't shoot that type of photography. But I would love for Nikon to make a nice camera that can shoot 8K like the Z9 will do. 4K 120. I want a nice video camera. That way I feel, you know what I mean? That would be something that will make sure we are covered in all spaces on the Nikon end.
So you want a dedicated video camera?
Well, I think the the FX, right? I think it takes photos. It just doesn't have.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it just.
Yeah.
It takes photos.
It's basically an A7 S3 in a more video body.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Okay.
So you can take photos with it,
Film
but
camera
you
body.
wouldn't buy it to be your main photography camera. But it still takes good photos. So, you know, something that probably has like, let's just call it like a Z5 in photography with great video specs. How about that?
No,
No?
that's not. It's going to be way too expensive for it to have a Z5 photography capabilities. You know, it's going to be at
Really?
least $3,500.
Right. But I mean, we talking 8K video, 4K 120. That's not going to be cheap either way it goes. That's going to be pretty
But it
expensive.
has got to be faster, not 4.5 frames a second. Like,
Well,
it
we don't
should
care
at
about the
least do.
photography part. Right?
Oh,
Right.
no, it'll be faster. For sure. If there is going to be one. We're just talking.
Yeah, we just
air
talking.
right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to hit. I'd like it to hit a price point of about $3,500. Not a bit.
I want to take a price point less.
Sorry.
Under 3.
Well, how
Under
much
three,
is the
yeah.
FX? How much is the Sony
It's
FX?
39.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking
Look,
that. I love that.
The FX3 has a 12 megapixel sensor like this A7 S3.
No, I
Right?
think Ryan wants a video camera.
I want a video
I think
camera.
I think Nikon should do a video cinemas line, but not
Yes.
for the Z8. Personally, the Z8 should be, I'm telling you, something more affordable than the Z9. Because a lot of
definitely.
A
Definitely.
lot of photographers they want the Z9, but it's $7,000.
You make a lot of sense there because I think I kind of also agree with the $3,000 price point, but I'm just worried that I don't think they will be able to hit their price point even if they want
Yeah,
to.
I don't think
Because-
so.
Because I'll tell you what, I get where Ryan is coming from, right? He wants a Nikon body with a lot of video power, a lot of video capability. At the same time, he should and Vahagn, you'd like that camera to be a fantastic photo camera as well, and I want both, right? So we all expect everything out of that camera. I think we're talking about a Nikon R5. but with none of the failures of the R5. Like
no,
we
no
want,
overheating issues.
but, yeah, but probably not a 45 megapixel camera. Probably somewhere around 35
No,
to
no, I
38.
think Vahagn wants the 45 megapixels.
Do you?
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
actually I want a 60 megapixels.
Which is
If you were
which is the other rumor that they're saying that Nikon is going to launch a very high megapixel camera, probably 61 megapixel Sony sensor, or they might just go up to 80 or 100 because there's talk that Canon is going to launch a 80 megapixel camera. Now, if Nikon anticipates, and I shit between Nikon and Nikon, if Nikon anticipates Canon to launch a 80 megapixel camera, they might just go the high megapixel route, and then
80?
Ryan, then 80,
80?
yes, 60 to 80. And in that case, Ryan, you're not going to have a nice video camera because you can't downsample all of that into a 4K nice, because you will have bad 4K, and you'll have bad 8K, and it's going to heat up. And
Question.
It's definitely going to be a smaller body than the Z9, so it can't take so much heat.
Right.
So imagine if it has a smaller body but 60 megapixel camera, it can't do video very well at all. So which is why I want everyone who's saying that the Z8 should be a 60 megapixel camera, I don't want that to happen at all. I want it to be 35 to 40 megapixel camera, enough for most people. For most people, Vahagn compromise with 5 megapixels. Okay, it's fine.
I have a question for Vahagn though. What do you want this price to be? Like your dream Z8, right? With the specs that you gave us, what would you like that price to be?
$29.99.
Okay, now listen. All right. It sounds like what you want is for them to make the Z7 III better than, basically, because the Z7 II is already more than that. I pay like $3,500 for
now
for
that
mine.
I think about that, now that I thought about that,
Yeah.
$39.99. Is that good?
39.
I think they could just put what they put in the Z9 in the future Z7, because they share the same exact megapixels, right? 45. Wait, what is my Z7 II? Isn't it a 45 or is it a 42?
What is it? Z7 II is a
45.7.
Yeah,
45.7.
it's 45. That's the same thing as the Z9. You know what I mean?
If you think about the history of Nikon and what they've done in the past, they've brought out the Pro body, right? And always they brought out something without a grip with a much higher megapixel count. For example, the D4 came out, the D800 came out, the D5 came out. The D850 came out, the D6 came out. So they always had that. And then the R5, the Canon R5 with the R6, the R3. The R3 is how many megapixels? You guys know? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's 45. R5, right? R5.
No, the R3.
No, R3.
R3 is 24.
It's 24?
24 megapixels.
Really?
That's about, yeah.
Really?
But the Z7 is in that. The Z7 is in that D850 line. It's just a mirrorless version of it.
Which makes me think.
You make a point.
Which makes me think. Look, if the Z7, I don't know what to say, Z or Z, I'm getting confused now. If the Z7 III is to come, right? It's not going to come in 2022. It's going to come in 2023, right? Then I do not want to wait another year, and I don't think Nikon is going to go another year without launching a significant camera, right? So I don't think the Z7 III is going to do the job of Z8. I think the Z7 III will become the high megapixel camera. It's going to upgrade to 61, maybe 80 megapixel. That's fine. Not going to be a video beast at all. But the Z8, I think, will take that place. Somewhere between 35 to 40 megapixel. Do a lot of video. It's a thirsty market out there. Just give them all they need right now, because you already have 2 high megapixel cameras.
Okay, so I think frames, and Ryan, you make a good point. Now that I've thought about this, the Z8, we have the Z9, we have the Z7 II, high megapixel count, awesome, fast, sports, whatever camera, Z9 ultimate camera. But since the Nikon is, perfecting their video,
Yeah.
With Z9, now they'll be able to put video technology in a Z8. So I think the Z7 II or the Z7 II, has the capabilities of taking amazing shots.
It
and then you have the Pro Body Z9, right? So what do we have? We need a video camera for the Z8, for example. Then Sony A7 R Mark IV, the Sony A7 III. See what I'm getting at? Mm-hmm. They have an A7R Mark IV, and they have an A7S Mark III. We don't have that A7S Mark III. They also have the A1, which is our Z9, right? Is it? I don't know.
Right.
I believe so. I believe.
Like if you look at the Sony portfolio, the naming tells you their strategy. Like you have an R version, which is high resolution. Then there's an S version, which is low light sensitivity. S stands for sensitivity, and it's going to be a good video camera. And then you have the mid-range A7 III, right? But in Nikon, we don't have that. So we don't know what is going to be the high resolution one, what is the high resolution series, what's the video series. We know there's a flagship, that's Z9. So I don't see a pattern there. Right now the video camera for Nikon is the Z6 series.
Yes, it is.
And we can't wait for.
It can be so much, but it can be better.
Yeah,
it can be better. You're right, but it can be better.
Are you going to wait for 24 months for that? A next video camera?
No. Listen. I understand exactly what you're saying. Currently, as we stand right now, the Z6 is Nikon's flagship video camera. But keep this in mind, okay? It cannot record internally. It cannot do in-log internally.
Exactly.
And it only does 8-bit internally, okay? Right. I have a Ninja 5. So I put everything to my Ninja just to get 10-bit. I don't record in log, but I do flat, but I can. But also, if you send your Nikon Z6 to Nikon, they can upgrade it to 12-bit, and they upgrade it for you to shoot it raw. Okay, so why can't we get a camera that can shoot 12-bit raw internally?
Absolutely.
That's what we need. We have a Z5 full frame cheap. A Z6 is pretty much, in my opinion, like a D750 for mirrorless, just upgraded. You know what I mean? If we have a Z7 II that supposedly has, the same sensor or close to the same sensor of an 850. Now you got the Z9 that's taking the D6 place. We need a video camera.
Exactly, and that is my expectation too. But unless they say that we're going to launch the Z6 version 3 with much more focus on video, internal N-log, and probably a couple of more log profiles, right? And 10-bit, 12-bit RAW, even 14-bit RAW if possible. With all of that, if they launch the Z6 to next year, then the road is open for the Z8 to become the large high megapixel camera. Something has to be there. It's either the Z6 III that becomes the flagship video camera, or the Z8 that becomes a flagship video camera, right? But that video camera has to come in next year. It can't come in 2023. It has to be there in 2022.
The video
first
camera,
half.
I think that's going to be their next focus, only because you got to realize we haven't seen which Z cameras do y'all have?
I have Z6. I have the original Z6. I have a couple of those.
Okay. And what do you have, Frank?
I have Z6 and Z6 II.
Perfect. So since you have the Z6 II, we have double processors in it, right?
Yeah.
You know that our cameras have not touched anywhere close to its full potential yet.
Absolutely
from what it can
not.
do from a firmware update.
Yeah.
It's so much Nikon can still do. So like, I understand you thinking of a new camera. I understand that, as far as like, we can't wait for the Z7 III, we can't wait for the Z6 III, but it's so much things that can happen to the cameras that we have now internally from firmware updates.
I don't think that they're going to allow us to record internally though, because that requires a complete re-engineering of the camera, heat management,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's going to happen. So a video dedicated camera has to be there. I think Z7 can take can do the job of being a high resolution camera. Let the Z7 II come in maybe in 2023 January, but in 2022 if the Z8 comes out, it has to do the video job very well. But you know, and the Z7 II is going to improve because we're going to have the new tracking system and Vahagn is going to buy it.
Yes, Vahagn,
I'm telling you,
please.
In September, in November, Vahagn is going to get the Z7 II when I review how the autofocus performance has improved. He's just going to go and get it.
Vahagn, do you have a camera store close to you that because my camera store unfortunately doesn't have much Nikon stuff to rent. They just have Sony and Canon.
Yeah, down the street.
I said, I'll beg you, please, just get the Z7 II for a weekend and just shoot. I'm telling you, everything you just said you wanted from that Z9 to the Z8, I think you will love the Z7 II. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's perfect, man. It's
you have that? You have a Z7 II?
Yep, that's what I shoot everything with.
Z7
II. Yep. Oh, wow. I only do my video with my Z6 II, but everything else I use my Z7 II. The file sizes are huge though.
But what about video?
I've seen the files; they're incredible. It's just that I can't deal with such large files. It's just too much space.
Yeah, that is huge. But no, the video is good. It's just the Z6 II. Exactly, the Z6 II does high ISO a little bit better than the Z7 II does. So, yeah.
Well, I have my eyes on the Z9. We'll see what happens.
You gonna buy that?
Okay.
Man, I'm gonna hit up Nikon and see if they could send me one.
Hey,
you know what? I put a comment and I said, you know what? You send me that camera review, you're gonna have celebrities, you're gonna have everything. You're gonna have fast cars, exotic cars in your review, everything. Musicians, rock bands.
Actually, that camera may be perfect for you now that I think about it. You do concerts and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I think that camera would be perfect for you.
Because he's already shooting with the D850, and I think you also have the D4, right?
Yeah, D4, D8.
Oh, you have a D4? Oh, yeah. That's Z9 got your name all over it.
So actually, you know what? You're the market.
Yeah.
For Z9.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, but there's also a lens I'm eyeing to buy next week.
Which one?
Man.
7200?
No, oh, definitely. Go for it.
It's not a Z.
Fantastic.
It's not a Z lens.
Oh, okay.
It's not a Z lens. No. It's a 200 f2.
Because I can see the trend of the kind of lenses you're going for. I can see the trend. I know you're going to go for it. That's the next stop.
Yeah, we'll go over that. But I think I found a good deal. So I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, VR2. It's heavy, but you know.
Did any of y'all get the ZFC?
No.
No?
Yeah, I was going to get it, but I don't have supply.
Yeah,
I want that camera so bad.
Yeah, I'll probably end up renting one just so I can like review it.
Yeah. I would love to do that, but my camera store don't carry anything Nikon. I need to move.
Yeah, the camera stopped from down the street.
Mm-hmm.
One of the leaders in camera rentals, so you can rent anything over there, even lights. So yeah, man, the Z8. I don't know if they're gonna make it, bro. Honestly, I don't know if that's in the pipeline.
I mean, it sounds like a complicated decision, but what's clear is we need a very, very good hybrid camera that can do 10-bit internal, 422. Raw internal without heating. I think when you're talking about the Z8, we're talking so much about video because I think that's a new story. That's what you want to hear from Nikon going forward, right? So if they can improve the preamp in the Nikon, on in-camera voice recording, if they can improve that's going to be great. Really, really.
But I don't honestly, I don't see that. Maybe, but I don't see that.
I mean, I don't know if it'll be called the Z8, but I do think that Nikon.
Once they get their videos together.
Yeah, they need to make a video camera.
Let them release the Z9 first.
Yeah. That's gonna be their main focus, the Z9.
Things like I wanted to have shutter angle. I wanted to have better video monitoring features, right? False color, for example. I want it to have those things nicer, easier coding.
Yeah, right? You know what the Nikon loyalists are gonna do, right? they're gonna say, "Man, you want a video camera? Go buy a video camera."
Yeah.
They're the Nikon hardcore guys.
But I think Nikon is very well positioned to do great in video because they do not have a cinema line to kill.
Yeah, they have to move with the times.
Yeah, no, and look, what happens with Canon is that Canon has a cinema line, Sony has a cinema line. So now they're making a video camera. They're saying, okay, I don't want to make a camera so good that people stop buying my cinema line of cameras. Nikon doesn't have that, so they can just go full on, make a camera that's really, really good. And the Z mount is fantastic. I mean, look at I don't know why have they made the 58 mm knocked. I mean, it's like it's a camera for filmmakers almost, right? And these lenses do not have focus breathing. Fantastic lenses, no focus breathing.
Yeah,
they should put it to use.
And I will tell you this. Let me say this part as well. To what you said, Vahagn. You know, if people saying, you know, you should go get a cinema camera. This what you gotta realize is, if you want a cinema, let's say you say, all right, I'm gonna go to Sony for my videos that I do, and I'm gonna go to Nikon for photography. Now you spending money on different type of lenses, and at that point you're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm just gonna convert to Sony because I could do both there. Well, now if you have a cinema type of camera with Nikon, you get to swap out your lenses, and now you get to stay in that ecosystem. Because once you break that ecosystem up, if somebody says, you know what, I like Sony's eye autofocus better, I'm just gonna leave. You know, now we lost because we don't have that camera to compete, and we need that.
And Nikon has the shortest flange distance. That means you can adapt any lens on the planet to Nikon, right? You can use any lens you want. You can't do that with Sony.
Will it be autofocus?
Yeah, I mean, if there are adapters, I'm sure adapters are coming up, so they do autofocus well, at least with the Sony lenses. But even if filmmakers want to manually focus, right? The Nikon system has the capability to use and adapt any lens, all lenses, because it has got the shortest flange distance. So that is an advantage that Nikon has, and they should use it. There's so much going for Nikon to make fantastic video line of cameras, fantastic line of video cameras.
No, of course. But to circle back to Ryan's point, they got to move with the times, because they have to do this because that's what the majority of the users demand right now. You know, they're content creators. You know, they want video. I'm talking about the Nikon loyalists.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
But you know what? We can definitely get into more stuff like that with what we're supposed to be talking about next too.
All right, let's do it.
So we're going to end it here. I think we've had a lot, sort of a scattered discussion, but I think a comprehensive on what and shows the confusion that we have on Z8, right? There is no clarity. There is no news from Nikon. There is hardly any rumor on the Z8. So it's clear that the lineup, the entire lineup is not clear as it. It's not as simple to follow as Sony's lineup of cameras. So we have to wait and see what happens. We have to see how Nikon takes the Z6 and the Z7 series of cameras forward in the third generation, and see what the plans are for also the DX bodies, because you never know, they might just decide to go with a professional, very well-made hybrid DX camera, and that's probably going to be a video camera. We don't know that. So because DX sensors at times have advantages when it comes to filmmaking, right? You can use smaller lenses and all that. So I think things are dynamic right now. It'll evolve and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, full frame, $4,000, amazing video features like Ryan wants.
Yeah,
and no grip, but 4K 120, 8K. I don't care about
light. Well, I want 8K. 8K. I said 8K, like AK-47.
Well,
I want 8K to be future proof. I just want to be future proof.
Yeah.
So I don't have to buy a camera at the time.
I don't think 8K is there yet because of, I don't know. There's no monitors on 8K, are there?
Yeah, but no, I would just downscale it. That way, when you crop in, you get so much more resolution when you cropping in,
Apple is going to launch the next laptop with M1X. So, That laptop, those computers, the next gen M1 chips, they're going to handle 8K pretty well. I'm expecting that. So yeah.
Either
Sounds
way it
good,
goes,
brother.
Nikon send Vahagn a Z9, send
Yes.
Frames the Z8 that he wants, and
No,
send
man.
me a cinema.
Also send me a Z9.
Oh man, this was
Yeah.
nice.
So great talking, guys. We're going to have the link below to the YouTube channels, and also don't forget to watch the other 2 videos in this series. The link is in the description. Right? We'll see you. Bye.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. I'm not doing it right. Rock and roll.
You do whatever.
Oh,
you
it's like my way. Rock it like this, right?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.